B207A, this is week 6. This is the last week that will be included for your midterm exam. Okay, so this is week 6, Introduction to Operations Management. So we are starting a new business function here that is called Operations Management. Have you heard about this business function before? Okay, we are done with marketing now. We are moving to operations management, and as the name implies, it's managing the operations of the business. Could you think of ways, or could you think of examples where we need to manage the operation? Yes, so can you think about how a car is made? This is the operation. It's how to make a car. So basically, operations management is the main thing that the business does. Okay, so the process of making the car is a very complicated and complex process in which the raw material and the labor and the number of hours and everything needs to be mixed in a certain way in order to produce this car, right? Now think about how a cake is made, a bakery. There are certain steps, processes before you get the final product, all right? Think about how much innovation could be implemented in this type of operations. Lots of innovations could be added to reduce the time, to reduce the cost, to create a better product, and so on. So can you define operations management?
Maybe it's the
Yes, it's the what? Yeah, go ahead.
managing of the process.
It's managing the processes, yes, it's managing of the process. Is it only the process that you have to manage?
No, also the labor, the resources.
Absolutely, the labor, the resources. For example, the raw material, the equipment, and everything involved in making the product ready to be delivered to the consumer. All right, so basically, operations management is an extremely important business function. It's the core of the business. It's the main thing that the business does. Think about producing clothes or food or cars or computers. All of these are part of the operations management. So the operations management function is responsible for the efficient delivery. What does efficient mean? فعال. So if you want to make a cake, you don't want to make just any cake. You can make a cake that costs you 1,000 riyal. You want to make you want to find an efficient way to make a cake that also keeping in consideration the final consumer, what he needs or wants. So not only that we want to make the product, we want to make it in an efficient way. We want to order the correct raw material that fits our product and fits the needs and wants of consumers. So efficient delivery of goods and services to customers. How do we do that? Through effective management of the organization's resources. What do we mean by resources? The equipment, the time, the employees, the labor, the raw material, equipment, we said equipment. So all of these, we need to put them together in a way that at the end produces the final product. All right? So think about Subway. You enter Subway, and how do you order the sandwich? Yes, so there is a certain process in which the vendor starts your sandwich. So first they ask you what type of vegetables you want. So they put the vegetables and everything is in front of you. Then they ask you what kind of meat or chicken or seafood, whatever. And then the sauces. Okay. And then they have their special equipment to heat up your sandwich. So this process is very special for Subway because in other sandwich stores, you just go into the store and you order a sandwich, right? So each business has a way of handling this operation. And of course, the more efficient it is, and the more it meets the customer demand, the more what? Successful it will be. Okay? So we need a good process design. We need a good process design is, for example, the Subway. It's a simple design, but think about the design of a car manufacturer. It has to be very efficient. It has to not waste any time, not waste any material, not waste any labor time as well. Okay, so it will be very complex to set up this process for a car manufacturer. Effective planning. We need to plan it very well. We need to control it. Okay, what if we were making the sandwich and all of a sudden you realized the customer wants chicken, but we don't have any chicken? What would you do? This is part of planning. All right, plan ahead of time that you need to order the chicken because the chicken, maybe you order it, it needs 1 day for it to arrive. Okay, so you need to order it ahead of time. You can't wait until the chicken is finished to order the chicken. So this is what we mean by planning. We need to plan. We need to have the right raw material on time so we don't have dissatisfied customers. Okay. So it's effective planning and control systems and an entire workforce that is involved in continuously improving processes and systems. So everything goes in place. Everybody knows what they are supposed to be doing. So here we have this figure that shows that in the middle we have a process. Okay, what do you give the process? What do you give it? So you give it the resources. Okay, like you give it the facility, the equipment, the staff. Sometimes the customers, I will talk about this later, you give it the materials, the energy, and also the information. The recipe, for example, it needs some information. Okay, and then the process goes inside. So there is a special flow of process. You plan, you schedule, you try to improve the system over time to make it faster, to make it less costly, and so on. At the end, what does the process gives you? A product or a service. Okay, so it gives you products and services. It should give you customer satisfaction, not any product or service. It should give you a product that satisfies your customers. Okay, the unit cost or profitability as well. It should give you a product that you could sell profitably to the customers. And finally, it should be environmentally friendly, environmental impact. Okay, now, why did we have customers here? How come customers themselves could be an input?
We can use their information?
No, it's not marketing research. This using the information, this is on the marketing side. This is not on the operation side. On the operation, how can you send a customer as an input? To test the product. In case of services, right? If you have a service, the customer himself is the input. Correct or no? Let's think about an airline service. Okay, who goes into this process? Who is the raw material of this? It's the customer. It's the passenger. For a haircut salon, okay, who is the input? It's the customer. It's the yes, exactly. So think about the customer also sometimes not only buying the product after it's being done, but also being part of the process, because whatever process you are doing is being done on him or her. Okay? Movie theater. This customer is part of the process because we said in services, they are simultaneous. They happen at the same time. Okay? So the customer is part of the process. At the doctor's office, the service cannot be given if the customer if the patient is not there. Okay? So this is why we have customers. Any questions about this model? Is it clear? Okay. Now, all of the operation management, by the way, operations management is a very big topic. It's a huge topic. You could have a degree in operations management if you are interested. Okay, it's a full major. Here, this process itself, all of these, each one, you can study each one of these in a full course. Okay. For example, the process design, the process flow, all of these could be extended into so much. But for now, you need to know the main concept of how these things are done. Okay. So we have 3 types of transformation processes. You could either transform material. Can you give me an example of a process that transforms material? The car manufacturers, for example. Okay, you transform the material, the steel, the leather, the whatever material you use for a car, you transform it into a working car. Okay, a bakery. You put flours, eggs, sugar, baking powder, vanilla, whatever, and you transform it into a cake. Right? So material processing is when you process raw material. Information processing is when you process information. Like what? Banking, you process information. Okay? Things like accounting, you process information. So it's not tangible products that are processed here. It's actually more of a service product. Also, customer processing, you can process a customer, you can change the location of the customer, like Uber. Okay, you process the customer from point A to point B, like airlines, like a train. You process the customer in a movie theater. The input is a bored customer, the output is an entertained customer. Right? So always we have input, output. Are you familiar with these terms? What does input mean? In المدخلات صح؟ Output الأشياء اللي بتطلع معنا. Whatever output we have out of this process. Okay, now we have the types of transformational change. So what's the difference? Here we have the transformation process, and we have only 3. The transformational change is what you are transforming. So first of all, you have physical transformation. Yani you are changing the physical attributes of your raw material. You are changing the physical attributes of your inputs. Okay, just like we said with the bakery, with the car manufacturer, you change the physical, this is a physical transformation, where you put together some raw material and you get an output. Okay, so the preparation of food, the machining of metals, the mixing of chemicals, all of these are physical transformation. Okay, informational transformation. All operations involve some sort of informational transformation. So even if you are doing physical transformation, you need a way, you need a recipe, you need knowledge, you need information on how to do it. All right? So any transformation involves information. Possession transformation. This is what a supermarket does. It changes the possession of products from its own to the customers. This is why we have supermarkets. Supermarkets don't make these products. They don't own these products. What they do is simply a service to change the possession of these products from themselves to customers who find it convenient to go and shop, to get all their stuff from one place. Number 4 is location transformation. Like what? Like Uber, like airlines, like a train, a taxi, all of these, like FedEx and DHL. All of these change the location of a product. Okay, so the logistics processes. Also, we have storage transformation. Okay, any operation will have some storage involved. So if you are in a bakery, you have to store the eggs, you have to store the flour, you have to store your inventory somewhere. Okay, people are stored in a waiting room at the doctor's office. You need to find a way to make it easy for people to wait and to stand in line or to do whatever until they get their service. Also, data is stored on servers, on computers. The last one is physiological or psychological transformation. Like what? When you change the psychology of a person. I did mention an example. No, not the pricing, not the psychological pricing. Like the gym, exactly. This is a psychological or physiological transformation. Great example. The gym is a great example. The movie theater, the theme park, Disneyland. Okay, all of these, they change the person, they change the customer from one state of mind to another state of mind. You go there to either have fun or to improve your mood or to improve your health in the case of the gym, okay, and so on. Also, medical treatments, okay, change the physiological state of a person from a sick person to a healthy person. Okay, so here we have examples of a bakery and a library. We have 2 examples. The first example of a bakery. So as mentioned before, we have 3 transformation processes, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 transformational change. This one, okay? 6 transformational change. So here you will notice that in a bakery, the transformation process that is happening is on the material, because you are baking, you are transforming the raw material into a cake or into bread or whatever. Okay, so this part is the most important part for us. However, we also have some other information involved and storage involved, and the location is being changed from one place to another, just like we explained with the 6 transformational change. Okay, yeah. In this case, the case of the possession, you go into the bakery and you buy. So at the same time, the bakery is not only making the bread, but also selling it to you. So in this case, it's changing the possession of the bread from its own to the customer. Also the location. Maybe the bakery sends the bread from its location to the supermarket. Okay, So in this case, the location is changed. Storage, they have to store the raw material in order to use it later on. Okay? Now, this physiological and psychological aspect is not under the material processing, but a person, a customer, after eating the bread or the cake, they will feel satisfied, they will not feel hungry anymore and very happy because they ate a delicious cake. Okay, so this is why we write it here in this box, because it's a psychological, physiological / psychological aspect related to the customer. All right. Is this clear? Now, we have a similar example here, but for a library now. What do you do at a library? You read, you borrow books, and you read, okay? Research about information. So basically, the information processing here is the most important one. Okay, this is the main thing what the library does. When you borrow a book, the library knows that person X is borrowing this book and it's not available on the shelf anymore. And the system tells you it will be returned after a week or 2 weeks or when it will be returned, right? So this information processing is very important, and also because you are reading, so processing the information inside the books. Okay? But what is the material processing is involved? Because in a regular library, not a digital library, a regular library has tangible books for you to take and read and use. So this is where the material processing is involved. Okay, so each one of these boxes explains how the process inside the library does have, for example, the possession, transformational change. Okay, they can change possession depending on who is borrowing the book. The location, you might take the book with you home, or also the location could mean that where is the location of the book on the shelves? Storage. The books should be stored in a convenient way to be found. All right. Again, for the customers, we have a physiological trait. After reading the book, what happens? The person is more knowledgeable about a certain topic, and this is the whole point of the library. Okay, is to educate people about any topic that they wish to read about. Okay, so this is the service that is being offered by the library. Any questions? Is it clear?